Hey guys, this is Samantha for Trans Youth, and it's Saturday, and the topic for this week is actually a really big one, and it's affecting the entire community, which is not something we've had for a while. Essentially, it's a large media problem, how transgender people are represented in the media, and more specifically, represented wrong in the media. Essentially, the whole big deal is that ABC, a very large networking station on TV, has released a pilot episode of a series they want to roll called Work It. And it's a comedy series, and it's essentially about two men who cross-dress as women in order to get jobs in a female industry of a pharmaceutical company. Now you can already see the problem that transgendered people have with it. But just to be a little bit more specific, essentially starting with the synopsis of this entire show, it starts with two guys who are very unemployed, very down on their luck, and cannot attain jobs. And one of them goes through the newspaper and finds an ad for a pharmaceutical company hiring sales representatives, but only female sales representatives. So he decides he's down on his luck and he's having a lot of problems with his job. Can't hurt. So he cross-dresses to the job interview. And he's a very, very buff guy. He's a very masculine guy, and he doesn't pass. But he gets the job anyway. And upon getting the job, he ends up having to work through the whole thing. Simultaneously, he and his friend made a pact, the first and second guy made a pact, that one would not have a good job without the other. So this other guy who's at a fast food industry needs to be helped out. So the guy who cross-dressed to the job interview goes to him, goes, "Hey, here's how I passed," essentially coming out to him. And this guy decides, hey, he wants a job too, so he goes to the same representative company and applies for the job, interviews as a woman again, and gets the job. And once again, he does not pass in any way, shape, or form. So upon getting the job, they start entering into this workplace of all females and all women, and ends up having a lot of interactions that most transgendered people face on a daily basis. The problem with the show. Well, let's start with the reasons for the show. Basically, what the show is getting at, and it's tossing comedic points of view to this, is the glass ceiling, which is an idea that as successful as women can be, there is a certain point where they cannot do anything else, and men are way above, which is a discrimination problem. And it's the interaction of women in the workplace. So that's what the show is illustrating, and it's illustrating the unfairness. Then, on a personal note, it's illustrating the way men and women understand each other, and how women act very differently in the workplace versus men. It's also punctuating the way women are seen. It's a feminism thing. So there's a whole bunch of this stuff revolving men and women, and then there's this one who sits in plain view and is not talked about. The fact that they are cross-dressing, which isn't talked about. And keep in mind that since it's on ABC, a major networking station, everyone's going to see it. Like, everyone. This is so much higher than the transgender community can do anything for. So if they botch up the representation of cross-dressers, transvestites, female impersonators, or drag queens, they will have a problem. Because if they represent it wrong, the transgender community will be represented wrong. Now the conflict. On the network side, they don't view this as a transgender issue. They view this as a simple comedic stab at the community. The reaction the community has is, it's great that you can poke fun at race, you can poke fun at sex, you can poke fun at nationalities, you can poke fun at all of this stuff, But the fact of the matter is, they're all protected under rights, and they're not a fighting community. We are fighting for our rights. We do not have them yet. We are a very small community. We don't have room to take punches, because punches are taken seriously in our community. So the transgender community's problem with the show is that it is not representing transgender people well enough so as to represent it to the mass public. For instance, you don't walk into a job not passing and just get a job. You don't do that. The fact of the matter is, and according to statistics, I think, that unemployment rates are twice as high in transgender communities than any other community. Discrimination is twice as high than any other community. Being fired is twice as high as any other community. And extended unemployment is to be expected during transition. You don't just walk into a job and get it by cross-dressing. No, you don't. And it represents a very wrong aspect of transgender life. Now, there are a whole bunch of other problems, but that's like, this video is getting too long because of it and everything like that. I actually have a lot of opinions of this show. But my root overall opinion is that I am on the fence with it because I see a potential. I don't see it as a good show, but I do see it as a potentially good one. Essentially, if they were to, say, in later episodes, begin to bring up the, hey, I'm unable to go see my family because they found out that I cross-dressed to work, or hey, I just got discriminated against in the workplace because someone knows I'm transgendered, or hey, I'm unable to come out to this person because I fear that they will do something mean to me, or all of these problems that are actually shown in transgender life. I understand that this show is a comedy show and that it's meant to make people laugh, but when you have an issue such as transgender rights and you're showing that to the mass public, you have to at some point have a serious moment, such as losing their job because they find out they're guys, or something along those lines. Losing their marriage because their wife found out, or any of that sort. So I think that it has potential to actually become a very large outlet for transgender activism. However, at this point, it is just insulting to the transgender community, in my opinion. This is still open, and this is still going to be talked about until January 3rd, when the pilot actually debuts on ABC, and then we'll see what happens. I think I will actually follow this story on my personal channel come January 3rd, because I'm actually very interested in it. So if you want to see more of it, look there at that point in time. Otherwise, that's pretty much it, and I'm very sorry for the long, drawn-out explanation video of Work It, the ABC pilot that is set to debut. That's pretty much it, and I will see you guys next week on Trans Youth, or if you watch my own personal channel, next Friday. Thanks, guys. Bye.